All right, so here we are live. It is Tuesday, October the 3rd. Wow, it's already October the 3rd. I was thinking it was the 2nd. Uh, got a new figure to unbox here, and this is a Spin Master 12-inch Combat Batman. So yeah, I have reviewed previously on this show their 3 3/4 inch version of Combat Batman. So clearly, this was a design that they had a lot of faith in and decided to go all in on this particular version of the character. So I've mentioned before how this one's coming to a close. This line, this just plain Batman line, which doesn't really have a name. They just put the bat symbol on there, and that's good enough. Kind of like the 1989 movie, so I like that. And I happen to still have the box for it. Apparently, they are moving into a line called Batman Adventures. So, going to be a little different, just like a refresh, I guess. But I got this one for cheap off of Amazon. And full disclosure, this will not be joining my collection as a Batman figure. This is going to be the basis for a custom. A custom of what? You're just going to have to wait and find out, aren't you? So it's pretty much the same kind of packaging design we've grown to expect from Spin Master. We got some cross sole on the back. We got Combat Batman, Stealth Armor Nightwing, Batman, which I believe that's the plain black suit, Joker in a purple suit, another Batman where he's got goggles because they love to invoke Batfleck in this line, and Red Hood, which I've talked about Red Hood and Joker on this show before. If you want to go back and find those videos, so let's go ahead and open them up because I don't want this video to be too long. I've got another episode of Batman the Animated Series to get to, and I want to get to it because I really like that episode. So if you're watching this on the replay, that episode is going to be I Am the Night. It's going to be coming up very shortly. So I'm going to do it right after I get done with this. All right, so as per usual with Spin Master, he's on this little kind of half bubble on the inside, and he's held on by a rubber tab. So we get our X-Acto knife and see if we can get to that. There we go. Easy peasy. And usually I try to be really careful when I take these capes out because I don't want to damage them. I'm not really that concerned about this one because, like I said, he's going to be a custom. So go ahead and get that one. I still got this package over here that I got to throw out, and I still got something else coming up. So we'll set her aside over there. If you got to look at what that was, then you know what that was. And if you didn't, you're just going to have to wait till a future episode. So, Combat Batman, huh? What exactly is he combating? Well, obviously he's combating crime because that's what Batman does. But he doesn't come with any weapons or anything. These rarely come with accessories. These 12-inch figures. So even with the Red Hood, who's a guy that famously uses guns and he didn't come with any kind of didn't even come with a crowbar. I had to 3D print him a crowbar. So for comparison, this is their default Batman. This is the one that I just opened up in that box with Darkseid. And we can look at them side by side. So you can see, like, he's wearing, the standard superhero suit you expect Batman to be wearing. And this guy's wearing armor. And it is kind of, sleek-looking armor. It's not too clunky other than the shoulder pads or maybe a little Asbats-like. I'm looking around because somewhere around here I had the Mattel, the basic Mattel Batman. So you can see, like, while I'm at it, I don't know if I compared with these last time, but this is the basic Mattel Batman next to the Spin Master Batman. You can see Spin Master Batman, like, proportionally is a little more muscular, a little more barrel-chested than the Mattel version. And the Mattel version had some kind of light armor to it, where the Spin Master one was again in the more sort of standard superhero suit. So these, I think, had a little more heft to them, like the first Spin Master figures did, and these boots were like solid plastic and like a slightly more pliable plastic, like the stuff that the hands are made out of, at least in the first round. So it did seem like there was a little more quality to those initial Spin Master offerings. But the newer ones, I mean, it's not like they're crap or anything. They're just like, you know, they don't quite have as much heft to them. They don't feel as substantial. So let's go ahead, have a look at his articulation. First of all, the head. Got to kind of get that loose. It does have like some slight side to side there, but not a whole lot to speak of. Slight up and down, but not a lot to speak of. So that's about as far up as he looks. That's about as far down as he looks. So, and then of course the head rotates all the way around. The arms move up about that far. And just to compare with this, again, with the first one, that one, the arms go up about that far. They're a little hindered by, I guess, by the cape collar, but I figure that's about as far up as they would go anyway. Whereas, the shoulder pads on this one kind of hinder that one a little bit. They only go about that far. And then the arms rotate all the way around at the shoulder. You got, that's about the range of motion at the elbow, so we don't have quite 90 degrees. And the arm will rotate all the way around. So better than that Pattinson movie figure. I'm just never going to get over how crappy the articulation was on the shoulders. I'm sorry, on the elbows of those Pattinson movie figures. They were just awful. Spin Master ought to be ashamed of those. But this one's good. This one's fine. Leg moves up about that far. Knee bends about that far. And he's got the hinges at the hips, so you can do the splits no problem. There we go. All right. So that's pretty much it for the articulation. Now, like I said, this figure does have like more of an armor sort of look than the traditional Batman, but I don't feel like it's too clunky looking. Other than the shoulder pads, it still looks pretty sleek. There's some interesting design work on the armor of the legs, I think. So this is almost more of like a Christian Bale type Batman, although it's not exactly the Dark Knight type armor either. But now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking I'm probably going to buy another one of these and make myself a Christian Bale Batman out of it, because even though it's not identical, I think it's pretty close and it would work. And of course, those movies came out like, I think a little too early to have been made into some of these cheap 12-inch figures that I like. And I would kind of like to have a Christian Bale among my cheap 12-inch figures. So I might just wind up getting a second one of those just to do that. So the head has a lot of things that I kind of find irritating on modern Batman cowls, like all these little extraneous seams. I don't like that stuff. I want it to just be like one solid piece. It should just look like one solid piece. Like when I was a kid and I would watch the Adam West Batman television show, I always wished that like he could have a costume that looked a little more authentic to how he looked in the comic book. I didn't understand at the time that it was a show that would have been before Neil Adams would have drawn Batman in the comics. So I thought of Batman in the comics as looking like Neil Adams artwork. So I wanted him to look a little more like how Neil Adams drew him. And you're that age, you don't understand things like you don't understand that it would be extremely difficult to make such a stylized Batman in real life. It just doesn't really occur to you. So yeah, that was kind of like my thing. And when they got around to doing the Michael Keaton Batman movie, and by that point there had been advances in costuming technology, and a lot of that stuff was invented by Bob Ringwood at the time. But you had your sort of molded latex bat cowl, and I'm like, yes, that's what Batman's supposed to look like. And then they go back to the Robert Pattinson movie, and they're stitching together a cowl, and I'm just like, Why? And I had people saying, "Oh, well, they're trying to make it look more like the Adam West version," and I'm like, Adam West was in the '60s, dude. Like, they're talking about how it's supposed to look like a homemade type of bat suit, and I'm like, there are cosplayers that make better bat suits than that in real life. Like, what are you talking about? So you had the perfection of that Ben Affleck Batman suit. It was just gorgeous. The Batman versus Superman one, even like some of the later Affleck ones were kind of a little too clunky for my taste. And you want to try to you want to try to sell me on that Robert Pattinson suit? Yeah, that ain't happening. So, but I guess like a clunky armored Batman works for some people, but this one's not too clunky. It's fine. You know, uh, again, not my preference for the character, but it's still fine. So I like it well enough that I'm considering making a Christian Bale out of it. So that ought to tell you something. So so yeah, this is probably a figure worth picking up. I figure it's one kids would like. If your kids like Batman figures, then this is probably one that they probably already have and probably already like. But if they don't, go ahead and pick it up for them. I think they'd like it, especially if you can get it for cheap on Amazon, like I did. I only paid like $6 for this, so not too bad, all things considered. But like I said, this one is not going to stay a Batman. This one I have very specific custom project in mind for this, and you're just going to have to wait and see what that is. But I am working on it. So that's pretty much it for this episode. Like I said, I wanted to keep it kind of short. I've got a Batman the Animated Series to get to, and I really want to get to it. But if you enjoyed this one, make sure that you like and subscribe and all the fun YouTube stuff down below. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think about this figure. Let me know what you think about Batman action figures in general. Let me know what you think about the character of Batman in general. I like hearing from people in the comments, so please make sure you leave a comment. And if it's not even it's not really relevant to the episode, but I don't know why you would do that. Certainly, you watched this thing, you want to comment on something I said. So, oh yeah, and he still has like the cheap Christmas ribbon kind of fabric for the cape that I don't like. So, just pointing that out too. All right, so that's going to be it for this episode. We will talk to you next time. Bye.